Welcome, welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert. And we have once again the amazing, the wonderful, the genius at times, Christine Hansen. Welcome, Christine.
Hello. So excited to be back.
Thank you so much for coming back on Money Talkies. We had such a wonderful conversation with you on our Friday feature, getting to know your mindset, getting to know your journey, get to know how you arrived to where you are right now with multiple businesses and, maneuvering through a divorce and everything else. But today, tell us, Christine, before we begin, tell everybody and again, remind everyone again what it is that you do.
So my business is Christine Means Business, and that's kind of who I am, what I do. And it's twofold. On the one hand, I help small businesses, entrepreneurs, creatives want to take their business online in a very traditional kind of business coach and consultant, although I call myself a boutique business coach and consultant because I don't want to work with everyone. So I still do that. And the other thing that I do is I'm a curator for travel experiences for entrepreneurs. So we really go and pause and reevaluate who we are, what we do, whether we love what we do still, whether it's still, connected to our core passion. And we do that while we're traveling the world, which is the best of both, I would say.
Awesome. All right. So today we're talking about how to charge high ticket with ease. Now, before we actually go into this, tell us why you're such a big fan of high ticket, Christine.
Well, I love money. So that's the first thing. I like to buy beautiful things. I don't like to be too much aware of my spendings. Like I just like to buy when I see something. And I also love the people that I get to work with at that level. I am someone who purchases high ticket. So as an example, if I am interested in working with someone and they have a DIY program or a group program, one-on-one or a VIP day, you can be absolutely certain that I will be going for the VIP day always. It's just how I roll. And so it's very much who I like to work with too. Like I really find we have a lot of similarities. And that came true really when I started to charge high ticket as well. The people that I started to work with then were amazing. So that is why I was just like, okay, anything low ticket is not me. It's not aligned with me unless I have a strategy behind it that is hands off and makes me loads of money in my sleep, so to say. Then we can talk about it. But otherwise, I'm not someone who's going to charge like $20 for a workshop, those things where I have to be in person. That's just not me. It doesn't work for me and I don't sell it. Whereas if I just do an Instagram post on a private VIP mentorship in Bali for 8K or 10K, it sells. It's just my way of doing things, my essence, I guess.
So what do you define as high ticket?
For me, high ticket is anything that covers all your bills plus some luxuries with one transaction. That's usually where I start my high ticket. So if I say, okay, if I work with clients, my high ticket item needs to be able to, if I sell one a month, I'll be good for the essentials. So my household bills, my business bills, plus some extras. That to me is usually how I gauge what high ticket is. And that will be different for everyone. Obviously, your living expenses will be very different, whether you live in a huge city like New York or in Luxembourg, or whether you live in a little cabin in Alaska. We talk about completely different ways of looking at money. So usually the way that I explain it or how I gauge it is for first of all, knowing what your expenses actually are, which is not always a given. And then some, because I need my luxuries in order to be happy. It's just the way I roll, So to me personally, I need to make around 8 to 10K a month. So my high ticket is 10K. Usually that's like my area. And that is developing as, as the product or as the experience, ripens and becomes more and more polished, the price will go up until I'm like, this is the perfect price, which is probably 20K per person.
So it basically any product around, I think, okay, let's take it from 8K. I think 5K is still low ticket. It's not high anymore. I think the landscape changed.
For me, 5K is my regular price. And when I work with my clients, so if I have someone who starts in an online business, let's say as a service provider, usually we start around, depending on what their income is and what they need to make, but usually around the 3,500 mark just in the beginning for like 4 to 5 clients. And then we raise it fairly quickly, you know, just to make sure that it's not completely out of alignment and just so uncomfortable that there's no way they're going to sell it because they feel horrible about it, you know. So I just think it's training your muscles a little bit.
It is. I agree. Now, so now you talk about how to charge high ticket, and we were discussing this in the Friday feature. It's all about, you know, how comfortable you feel, because you have to work on your money mindset for this. And I remember I did that, you know, in order to be able to charge, even though I was used to earning 6 figures in my legal career, charging anything similar, even I remember thinking, okay, so if my hourly rate as a lawyer was this, I should keep my hourly rate the same. That's how I was trying to, you know, work it out initially. And even that was horrific. And I thought, oh my God, you know, what do I do? Anyway, I had to work on my mindset. And obviously we come this far. What would you say? So, you know, how would someone charge high ticket with ease? So take us through the process.
So the easiest way, or what I found personally that works best for me and for my clients, is when I talk about the concept of collapsing time. Okay. Because before, yes, we brought up in an academic paradigm. So, you know, which means the longer you study, the more you suffer, the more difficult it is, the more you get paid.
Yes.
So teachers, lawyers, professors, and then doctors, you know, obviously they have the longest period of studying with sleep deprivation, horrible. So we have to compensate them for all of that. That's kind of, you know, how we grow up, all of us to some extent. So stepping away from that to something that you probably have no academic achievements in, you might have a certificate and a diploma because that's the way it just rolls nowadays, you know, doesn't mean that it's not legitimate. But what ultimately you have different schools who are good in different ways. And even if you have a good school, doesn't mean that you are very good at it, especially with coaching. I know people who have all their ICF certifications, but they're horrible humans and they just can't coach, you know, so it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. Certification means absolutely, especially for coaching, it means absolutely zero to me. I have found those coaches with all those diplomas and this accreditation and that accreditation, they're horrible. They're not horrible people, I would say, because I've attracted very good people, but they're just horrendous as coaches and they're so lame. Whereas somebody with no accreditation, zero qualifications, like for example, Margaret Lynch, she has zero of everything, and she's wonderful. You know, and I myself, you know, I've taken some courses from all these people, and I do have some accreditation, but I don't mention them at all. I don't mention who my mentors are on purpose. No. It's me, take it or leave it, you know, and you're either going to connect with me or not. What I've done or haven't done doesn't really matter now.
Exactly.
And so I think that's so different in the online space, especially in the service-based industry.
Yes. And I really think it makes more sense to take a personality test and to figure out what your personality is rather than taking some certification, because some people can't listen, they don't get it. They just don't hear it. A good coach, if you're inherently, I just think it's a gift that you inherently have or not. You can train, yes, to some extent. You can learn some questions by heart, but in general, I find if you're a good coach, you're the kind of person that has a 5-minute conversation with someone and you immediately see where the holes are, you know, where they need some support, where there's not a whole truth. And it's just something you know or don't. That's my humble opinion.
But I agree with that. I agree. I think you can also develop skills in your previous lifestyle, careers as well. Like you come from the academic background, I come from the legal background. And as a lawyer, I think one of the biggest skills that I've picked up as a barrister was being able to communicate with different people at different times, you know, with lay clients to judges, to solicitors, to, you know, educated clients, and being able to converse with all different types of people in the most simplistic way possible. And the biggest one being taking really complex ideas and explaining them in very simple terms to my lay clients via the solicitor, of course. Whereas even though I didn't practice so much because I've been in the banking finance sector, so I never really had lay clients, all it was contracts. But having that skill and being able to polish it during my bar vocational course comes in so handy now, because now I naturally am able to speak to people in very complex terms if they need to be, very simple terms if they need to be. And generally when I speak, even in my book, it's like A, B, and C. So my 10-year-old can, it was geared towards my 10-year-old on purpose so that my 10-year-old can understand what it is. These are skills I picked up from my legal career, and I'm using them now. And you have picked up skills from your academic career, which and I think teachers make the best coaches, by the way. you're able to teach in a way that's required because you have so much teaching experience. That is more valuable than the accreditation of, this coach and that coach, whatever.
Exactly. Plus, I think I'm generally a very warm, caring human being. Unless you're a complete horrible person, I would always give you the benefit of the doubt. I just see that, it's just like, and sometimes it's naive, but I have a very poor sometimes radar in terms of gauging people, because I just usually think that
everyone's nice. Yeah, that's join the club. I'm
Yeah.
told I walk around with rose tinted glasses.
I know.
Like, isn't everyone nice?
But why would I judge anyone? Why would I? It's like.
But you think, because my mother used to say something. She said, you only see your own reflection in the mirror, which basically meant because you're nice, you think everyone's nice, and I think everyone's nice until I'm proven otherwise, which is sometimes.
But sometimes it's really funny because my partner is quite the opposite. He's very and like. I don't want to say judgmental. He's the best, seriously, but he has a lot of personal development to do, and it's hilarious because he's 61 and I'm 38. But
wow, there's a big age gap between.
There's a big age gap, but I think personal development wise, I'm probably like a little bit more mature. But anyway, it's so funny when he sees that someone and we analyze the same person, very different. And sometimes I'm like, why would you assume that? And it doesn't mean he's wrong at all. And it's just. Yeah, I don't know, that I think that is also a personality trait that makes you very good at what you do. And it takes a little bit of practice and journaling and having a coach or someone else show you that is legitimate. And once you get to that, and just a simple exercise is just writing down a list of awesomeness, all the things that make you an amazing person without feeling horrible doing it. Like bragging and bragging are not the same thing. Like, bragging just to brag is not the same as actually being proud of the skills that you have or that you develop. Once you actually get that on paper, you can be super proud, and and it's not a lie. You bring something to someone else's life.
Of course. Yeah.
And collapsing time is what I find helps me and my clients the most in terms of understanding why we charge what we charge. It's like, because let's be honest, everyone can find everything on Google. Like pretty much every book in the world is available on Google. All PubMed articles on Google. You have all the magazines you need on Google, and you can go and you can sit down and you can search and search and search, and you will have all the answers. It will take you some time, but it's free. They pay us because we have all of that jazz in our heads, and they ask us the questions, and within seconds they have the answer plus usually bespoke to them, as in this is maybe the general way of thinking. However, what I found through experience is that, and with looking at you and your skills and your character, this might be a better option, and it has also been tried in that quick split second analysis that we can do in our expertise. That's what they're paying us for, because it's awesome. It's so much time saving. Plus, if you're really good at what you do, that is obviously like the foundation. It is life-changing in whatever way they need help and want help. And that's the second thing. So important. It's really important that you understand that people are already looking for you. Like, it's never, ever your job to find clients. I hate it when people say you need to find clients. It's bullshit. No, there's tons of people out there already who are looking for exactly what you have to offer. Your job is, though, to make it possible for them to find you. That is
that's your responsibility, of course.
That's your responsibility. But otherwise, it's not your job to hop out there and to swing your lasso and pull in clients. It's like, you're just there. And if they are ready to be helped, then it's your job to make sure that they know that you are open and available to help them. That's all you have to do. And then those people will come and they will ask you, because that's what they need. And that's the most beautiful relationship. If you can communicate that, if you can just communicate, this is exactly what I need. And I love Anne Lamott's lighthouse metaphor. It's literally that, think of your clients like little lifeboats, and you are a lighthouse, and they are out in the ocean, and they see the lighthouse, and it's their decision whether they want to row towards it or not. It's not the lighthouse that's going to hobble down to the beach. That's not how it works. It's your job to shine your light, and then it's their job to decide whether they like it or not, whether they take it or not. And then, of course, it's also your prerogative to say whether you want to work with them or not.
Of course.
But having that I think that, or I feel, and I see it with my clients, when we change that dynamic, everything changes. It's just so much more relaxed and more serene. And then doing the math and also knowing I need to actually make this much money and it's not a hobby, that is also life-changing. So realizing the collapse of time, how much time and everything, nuisances you're saving them. And secondly, doing the math, knowing how much money you need, then it's also helping you to say, this is not a hobby. Like, I actually need to make this much money, you know, it changes everything. And I always advise people to do the math, as in how much do you need to make a month, personally, privately, and in business, as if you are not single, as if you were single. So you never know what happens. So you want to have that budget locked in for yourself. And I think
that's very important. I think as women, I'm a big proponent of this. You have to be financially independent, irrespective whether you have a partner, a loving partner, and it's all great. That's the cherry on top. That's great.
Lovely.
But that is just a bonus. You need to be financially independent yourself, you know, with or without your partner, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You God forbid, or with COVID, people have dropped dead, for God's sakes. I mean, I'm saying, gosh, your partner will, but you need to have this mindset that, I've got a partner, which is great. We can do this as a partnership, but if I need to, I can do it on my own. And that should be your target.
Yes, exactly. And once you do that, once you have that, once you know, okay, I need to have this also, maybe legacy wise, to have a college fund or whatever, you take yourself more seriously. That's when you start to think like a business versus, I'm doing a favor and I'm charging for it, I'm a horrible person. No, because you actually have the math there. You know what is coming in. And these people, the bills have to be paid. They're not going to say, you're a lovely person, so I'm going to make it cheaper for you. They don't care. You might want to do that with your potential clients, but the gas company or electricity company or insurance companies, they don't care. So once you see that in black and white, and as I said, it's a horrendous exercise, but once you go through all your bills from a year, like all of them, also the yearly bills, and go through all your PayPal subscriptions, and you actually know how much you need to make in a year, and then just divide it by 12, and you know how much you need to make, it changes everything. It's a great baseline. And then you go up to, so how much time am I saving them? How much better am I making their life? And also, just from a practical kind of point of advice, when I did, it's a little story. When I had Sleep Like a Boss, my VIP day, I sold it, or my regular package was €800. So it was 6 sessions. We had lab tests involved. And then I decided to do a VIP day. And I think I charged 2,500 for it at the time. But then I was like, I did this whole mindset work. And it was very much around the time that I talked about before on Friday, where I had the click. And I decided from one day to the next to change my VIP day to 10K.
Wow.
And I had this lady come in for a conversation for it was a sales call, but in person at the time. And I was like, okay, so we jived really well. We connected, and I was like, so now just breathe the price. And I remember saying, breathe the price. I didn't say it. I was like, breathe the price. And I said, it's 10,000. And I was quiet, because everyone tells you be quiet. And I was quiet. And she was like, okay. And I was like, no. I was like, okay, I need to set up an invoice for that. So, and it was from one day to the next. Nothing had changed. Like the whole premise was exactly the same. The content was the same. And once you sell that first one, it's just your new normal. It's just the way it is.
Yes, it is. Once you've once you've made the breakthrough with one, that becomes new normal, and you're able to sell it with ease without problem.
That's it.
And you attract clients who are willing to pay for that as well, without problem as well.
That is very interesting, because the calls, the no's that I received for the 800 package and the 10,000 package, the percentage was identical. I had just as many people say no, and just as many people say yes.
I've noticed that as well. So the numbers don't change, even the price goes up. And I've done that. But I also, don't you see this, Christine? I have found, now the mastermind was started in 2019. Before that, I was doing the small 8-week, 3-month, the normal stuff that was done. I decided to change how I did my work and how I was able to help you, because I saw that money mindset was something that you can't do in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. It's just not possible. You need the longer support on that. So we started doing these 12-month masterminds. and it's evolved as well in terms of what's available and what I do and what we do and so forth. But we started off charging in 2019, we were charging 5,000. At the moment, as this goes out, we're around the 12,000 mark.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a steal.
Yeah, no, it was for the 12 months. Yeah, so at the moment it's on 12,000, and we put the price up every so often. Yes. We do it slow increments. Again, it's just so basically to test out the market to see how it is, and it works so far. And actually we say 12,000, but with the payment plan, if you're looking around 16,000, so it's quite high for some people. But the value from it has astonished even me. The people are, because this is where energy stuff comes into it. The more you give, the more you can receive. And this is where I understood why this meaning was so important in my business, especially in my coaching. The more I was able to charge my clients, the more they paid me, the more they receive. And I'll give an example for that. So we had great stories come out from 2019. But the more I've been charging, the better the stories. And I'll give you 2 examples recently. So I have one lady called San. She's joined me in October last year. She's renewed her retainer fee for this year because she wants to stay on. But she joined me in October last year. And remember when she first joined, at that time, the mastermind was £7,000. And so, but one-time payment, or I think about 10,000 if it was on part payment. And she was having difficulty paying even the first installment. So she borrowed it from her adult son. So keep this in mind. She was a teacher or something else, doing other businesses alongside it. A great, great, great woman. And she borrowed money from an adult son. And I knew about it, that she borrowed it, but I let her be. I'm like, okay, I know what you can do with it. So she borrowed money to pay for this first installment. Now look at what she did. Within 2 months, she doubled her annual income, which is from her teaching salary, right? Yeah. Made it her monthly income, and she went on to just amazingly well in the from her returns. And currently, she shared with us, within 3 months she made 300,000 euros. And quick. She's currently, she's flying around everywhere. She's in out the bike because she's in network marketing, and she's just really taken off and doing really, really well. Like I said, she's an amazing woman. And she just need to get rid of the blocks, and she just skyrocketed. Yes. And at the moment, she said she's got first class tickets for. It's not just the money, but it's what she's doing with it. She's able to take her life. It's a life. She took a whole family on a first class ticket to Dubai, and recently she said, and she took it again, her parents recently, and then recently again, because she's still out in Dubai. Her daughter and son-in-law came, and she upgraded their tickets from normal to first class again. So she's able to do this for her family. Yes. Now this lady, amazing. It says 10,000 you paid for a mastermind, but can you imagine what she's got in return? Yeah. I'll give you another example. So the price went up to 12,000 recently. Just a few months ago, and we had someone join our mastermind literally a month ago. He joined, and he paid, instead of paying the part payment, which would result in 16,500, he took the one-time payment option and paid the 12 grand. Within a month, literally within a month, he had unexpected cash, clients come in, and everything that he paid, he got returned. Like, he got it back, all of it. Right. And he was just laughing about it, like everything he just paid, he just got it back within a month. Exactly. And everything else is a bonus now. So I found when I charge more, yes, my clients receive more.
And they do more. And they do more. They value themselves more. They value the homework more. And I see it. I said before that I'm someone who always buys VIP. It's because I know that I'm a lazy slagger. I don't do the work if I didn't pay for it. It's just the way that it's like I need a lot of carrot, but I sometimes need a little bit of stick. So for these things, the money part for me is like the motivated to get the work done. And I find that when I work with people and I charge higher, it's exactly the same thing. They come in, they're more motivated. They're also not looking for excuses at every turn to leave and ask for a refund. And I find before they would be able to afford it, but they would just it would be constant complaining. It would be constantly looking for excuses why it wouldn't be working and getting a refund. With the high ticket people, I never have that conversation ever. And not because it's different, it's always working, but it's just because it flows easier.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on what kind of container you deliver. And that is very different from Sleep Like a Boss to what I do now, specifically with the travel experiences. Creating a certain container that is high level. And what I mean by container is not a Tupperware container. It's literally like creating this vibe of, being super comfortable at a certain financial level, not guilty, but deserving and happy and relaxed, and having people around who are unapologetic and non-judgmental and who dream the same way. That is priceless, seriously, because you, as an entrepreneur, non-entrepreneurial people don't quite get it. They can be your best friends, they can love you to bits, but they just do not get it. Our brains are different. So that is where it's, and also, when you are at a certain level, it should hurt a little bit, but it shouldn't, it's still not going to get anyone broke. I'm usually someone who is like, okay, if this is going to get you into severe debt, then I suggest you don't do it, because you might be so stressed that it's going to totally
actually impact your results. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yes, your creativity. But here, and that's why I wanted to refer back to the Bronson 2 Comma Club Mastermind. I think it's also a year-long mastermind. I'm not entirely sure, but it's 25K. To me, that's not that much money. I was actually quite surprised, because if you make 2.5 million a year, 25K is not that
it's not too bad at all. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I was like, nah. So I think it's always but it depends on what your baseline with money is as well, for some people. And I have a very different baseline, and it's like, I had to laugh with your lady, because I don't fly economy as soon as a flight is more than 4 hours. There's no way. And we just got our ticket confirmation as we were on the call for Dubai in January. That was like, okay, we're flying business class. Of course we are. But once you do that, all of these little action steps, and even coaching your clients to come to the retreat business class, it makes all of the difference. It levels your life up. It just shifts your paradigm. And it's similar with mindset. You cannot go back. If you've ever flown business class for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, you cannot fly coach again. It's just impossible. So, or you will try everything to avoid it. So I find that creating that container, that vibe where you can completely relish and be without any guilt, without anyone telling you, oh, that's a lot of money for extra nice peanuts or whatever, it's just, which is always bursting your bubble and making you feel like a horrible person. That will shift everything. It will give you purpose, it will give you fun again, it will give you creativity again, it will allow you to be very honest with yourself. Because as much as we love the people around us, also our partners, they can burst our bubble fairly quickly.
Yes.
So having that container to just play and be, and then even usually I suggest that people take the 8 days of the experience plus a couple of days, 4 days or so, that it's 2 weeks in general when they get back, before heading back into their regular planning, just to let things sink in, because you kind of have this hangover, like when you have all these, I have all these ideas and intention, and then you come back and it's like, now I'm back home. So having a little bit of incubation time there. But I think these are all things that are priceless, literally. They are priceless. So when I ask for a 10K or a 25K price point, to me, it's peanuts. It's literally peanuts. And the other thing, a sentence that I really like that my clients, or that I like sharing with my clients to use when they are on a call with their potential prospects, is that you can say no, and I don't take it personally. That is so important. You can literally say, I understand if it's too expensive for you, I don't take it personally. And that is perfect for some people. It will literally give them that choice, without, because we're really polite, so we don't want to offend anyone. So if you actually tell them, I won't take it personally if it's too expensive for you, and it's true, it is really true, I don't take it personally, that will relax you, I find, so much when having conversation with people who you potentially want to welcome into your world. So those are a couple of practical tidbits as well.
I also want to get your thoughts on this, and I know this for a fact myself, how that you need to be prepared, as you've mentioned time and time again, you yourself pay high ticket. So if you want to charge high ticket, you need to be willing to pay high ticket.
Yeah.
And I always think whatever you're willing to pay is probably your threshold, what you can actually charge. And I found that to be very true. So I've paid high ticket a lot, even when I was training.
Yeah, I'm like, I think yes and no. I think it shifts as you see through a lot of bullshit as well, though. Like sometimes I'm very willing because I know that this is gonna be good. But as I am just like you, we've been in this business for a while. I'm also wary now sometimes, and
but that's just now. My point is, at some point you've paid. I mean, I'm not paying. I've got part of a couple of mastermind, actually one mastermind now, and that is high ticket, and that's around the 35K mark. But generally, which is about 25K UK, or around about that much. But generally, because I've paid that much, I can now charge that much at some point for something that I need to do. This is my point. If I'm not willing to pay that, I can't charge it. Doesn't mean I have to pay for it all the time. Why would I do that? But your level of your ability to, see the worth in something is whether you saw the worth in something before and were able to pay and receive, and therefore now you can charge that much. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Do you agree?
You're right. I agree. I think it's really like when you personify money, it's just, if you try to charge super high without ever having had the experience, it's like squeezing it into a dress that's way too tight. It's not going to fit.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've done this transaction, it's like your favorite sweatpants. Money is just going to be like, oh, this flows nicely, And I really think it is. And anything that's squeezy, tighty, and not quite working, everyone notices. Like people will notice. They'll be on the phone with you, on a call with you, on a video thing with you, or even in person. They will notice that you cringe inside because you're uncomfortable and you don't even know what you're supposed to deliver because you never received anything of the same kind of amount. And I'm not someone who says you should compare. Like it's one thing where I'm really advising against go to different coaches and compare their price points, because you have no idea, as I said, what their baseline is, what they actually need to make and stuff. But I do think that you do need to know to some extent what is possible and to have experienced high end in order to know what you should deliver. Otherwise, you're just assuming and guessing. And of course, you're going to be sweating bullets because you don't know what you're actually supposed to deliver or what it could look like. So you're just making it up and assuming. That is not, going from a sales page and taking that. It's not the same thing.
Agreed. I mean, I've had this one person come into my mind, and she's, like I said, everyone wants to do money mindset and money blocks now. And she is someone who did one of my smaller programs way back in 2018, I think, when it was right at the beginning. And I think she's gone from relationship coaching into money now. And she's, as a lady, as a person, she's awesome. She's wonderful. But she has some issues that she needs to work on. And when she heard about where the cost is for the mastermind at the moment, she just completely froze. I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought in my mind, if you're not willing to pay this, how are you going to charge? Which also highlights to me that you yourself have money issues, because you see the value, you know what I'm like, you know for a fact what kind of money things I can deliver to you. And so if you cannot see the value in this right now, or think it's too much, how are you going to charge your clients the same amount? And this is the point that I've sort of made before, that it's just, you need to be willing to pay that much to someone, receive the value, and then be able to do that for yourself, for your own clients. One of the reasons I was able to charge high ticket quite quickly was because I already paid high ticket without knowing it was high ticket. So back in, when I was doing my training, which is purely for personal reasons, I had no intention of going into business with this. Back in 2014 and 2010 and 2000 and oh my goodness, all the times I've trained in for trading, learned how to trade on the stock market, on the forex, about property, about and that's when I was doing those. And then I trained into life coaching, EFT for Margaret Lynch as well. I paid every time. I was paying like 8,000, 10,000, 15,000. I was paying all this money out. So I had already paid high ticket without realizing I paid high ticket.
Yes.
And I saw the value, especially my intuitive life coaching, that I combine intuitive life coaching with EFT, especially with some of the Margaret Lynch's teachings, and I combined together to make my own new hybrid of things that I do, and came up with my own modality with energy clearings. And I see the value that I've got from there, that I'm able to, you know, for my own life, and then being able to use it to deliver value to my clients now. I know the value. So I probably spent over £100,000 or more in personal development. So I've paid that. For me to be able to charge that someone, even on a one-to-one, it makes sense because I spend that much money on myself, and I'm willing to go out and do that. Now I know I've accumulated all of that knowledge and all those 20 years of experience into into this juicy little knowledge bank that I have, that I can give to somebody if I'm working either one-to-one or in group coaching. But then I've spent that money, and therefore I can charge. If someone's now done that and they want to go and think about charging, you know, even 10K, 20K, they're going to have difficulties, right?
Yeah, the dynamic is off. It's just off. It's faking it. And I'm all for faking it in some circumstances, you know, when you start public appearing and you step into your future version, fair enough. But when you are selling and trading, which is basically what you do, you trade money for your wisdom, that energy does not work. I mean, and even if it does work, if someone then does take the step, it's going to be very stressful. Like, you know, always worrying, am I delivering enough, and feeling horrible. And as soon as something might go wrong, it's going to be all panic. And I don't want that for anyone either. It's just not healthy of doing business. It's not going to make you happy. So yeah, no, I completely agree. You need to have a certain dynamic and a certain paradigm, a money paradigm that just needs to be at a certain level. Yeah. You need to grow with it.
Yeah. Okay, so this has been a really, really interesting conversation, Christine. Tell us, what's your parting thoughts to someone who's considering charging high ticket but is reserved, or is not sure, or thinks, you know, am I worthy of this? Am I good enough for this? What would be your advice to that person?
There's two steps. The first step would be to really go inside and evaluate what you do, whether you can actually do what you claim you do. And this is just from the best intentions of my heart. But honestly, if you're not good at what you're doing, then don't do it. You know, and then it's and that's fine. That's totally fine. But if you know that you're very good at what you do, then I would start with just the simple exercise of, it's not simple actually, but with the exercise of creating your list of awesomeness. And even asking other people's what makes me awesome, and to step into that, like to really owning that beautifully goodness, lushness, uniqueness of you that nobody else has, because I'm totally stealing Laura Belgray's words here. You have the monopoly on yourself. There's nobody like you. And there's people who will love exactly that. There is no competition. I love that you referred to MLM before, network marketing. You have so many people selling exactly the same thing with exactly the same marketing materials, and yet some are more successful than others. That's because they are who they are supposed to be and who they want to be. So with those words, I hope they were inspiring and give you something to do.
Thank you so much, Christine. So how and where can we connect with you on the online space?
The easiest is just to hop over to my website, christinemeansbusiness.com. Or if you want to email me, you can email me at christine@christinemeansbusiness.com.
Wonderful. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, then the links that Christine just mentioned and all other social media handles will be in the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then down below in the description section, you'll have all her links and links to her website too. Go check her out. She is awesome. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. A lot more, I won't call her a business coach because she's a lot more than that. And but do connect with her and see how she can help you and support you in your abundance journey. Thank you so much, Christine, for being such an awesome guest. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's an absolute honor. Thank you for your trust with your audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to me and Christine today on Money Talkies. I will be back on another amazing episode with another amazing guest. I'm asking them for their wisdom and getting them gold nuggets on how you and I can build a better business together so we can attract more abundance. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.